here with a focus on tech and whether tech can still deliver the returns that so many investors had embraced earlier this year. Catherine Avery, CEO and president of Catherine Avery Investment Management, joining us right now as we kick you off to the close here on this Tuesday afternoon. And Catherine, I do want to start with these tech stocks, the Magnificent Seven, if you will, here. They were certainly magnificent in the first 6 months or so of the year. Not so much as of late here. Is there anything attractive you find there?
Not for the Magnificent Seven, but I would say that you might want to look at some of the other names in tech, what we would refer to as staple tech. Those names in technology that are trading at valuations much lower than the S&P tech sector, but we need their infrastructure in order to have tech run. So, for example, names like Cisco, their data centers are what's needed to help run the new AI that's coming out. Names like Oracle and Broadcom that offer the chips and the software that would support that AI trade. These stocks are all paying dividends. Broadcom and Oracle have both had double-digit dividend increases in the past year, and we expect that to continue. I know these names have taken a little bit of a seat back in the past month, but the long-term outlook is still good for these companies, and I think that getting paid to wait makes it worthwhile.
Well, we've certainly seen some investors shining to some of those names that you mentioned just there on that list. I am curious about another sector, Catherine, that has been a big focus outside of tech, and that has been energy and sort of what I guess the future holds specifically for the stocks when you overlay that against what we've been seeing, the fluctuation in energy prices itself.
Yeah, I think, a lot of the energy pricing, oil in particular, has been taking a step back this year because of the weakness that we've pretty much seen in China. But now, as we're coming into this second half of the year, we're starting to see supply constraints. So that's why we're seeing this uptick in the price of oil and, possibly seeing that price go up to the highs that we saw last year. And couple that again with the fact that these stocks came off of a great year in 2022, but had gotten very inexpensive in 2023, but are still delivering good earnings, lots of cash flow that they're returning to the shareholders. So again, the dividends are there, the valuations are intact, and having that price of oil move up makes that an attractive place for investors to start to look at.
And it's not just staple technology or energy. You also look at cyclicals in the same way. You're overweight that sector. I'm curious whether that extends to small caps as well, which are kind of cyclical squared in a way because they're so sensitive to every move in the economy. The Russell 2000 outperformed the S&P 500 for about 2.5 months at the start of the year, and since then it's resumed its position as being a laggard. Are small caps about to have a moment here?
They possibly can. But, our focus is really looking at the larger cap names. As you mentioned before, the dollar is starting to take a step back. And that is actually good for a lot of the U.S. multinationals that not only do business here in the U.S., but have a lot of exposure outside the U.S. as well. A lot of these larger companies will be able to take advantage of that infrastructure plays going into the next couple of years. The smaller cap stocks will also be able to take advantage of that as well. So, we had, if you look back, we basically had a recession in earnings estimates in the first half of this year. I was starting to see a reacceleration of that. But that's probably, a lot of that reacceleration is going to be coming from a lot of these cyclical names that have been able to participate in the infrastructure rebuilding.
Catherine, it was a great conversation here. We have to get you back for something a little bit longer. Catherine Avery there, she's the CEO of Catherine Avery Investment Management, helping us kick you off to the close here on this Tuesday afternoon.